What up, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we're talking about money. This is my very first video I'm dropping under a new project I launched through Greenbook called The Wealth Writer. My mission with Wealth Writer is to simplify money and marketing from a people first, everyday aspirational millionaire point of view. What the hell does that mean? It means that people like you and I, we all want to become millionaires, right? But we don't necessarily want to be flashy. We don't need to be celebrities about it, but we need to know how to get to the money. And you do that by understanding or better understanding the language of money. So with Wealth Writer, the goal is to break through all of the financial jargon and the things that prevent us from really understanding how to navigate the world of finance, ownership, and all the things tied to developing and building assets that sustains the high quality of life that we want for ourselves and for our family. Now, I've been away for a while. I've been wrapping my mind around this project, and I dropped the Wealth Writer newsletter to help push the mission forward. So every week, I'm sending out a newsletter where I break down some fancy financial term in a way that we can understand it, and so that we can use it, and so that financial professionals can better understand how to communicate with everyday emerging investors. I also talk about different ways to market in finance, right? Because that's what it really comes down to: how to market these services, how to market ways to invest and to get and build better financial literacy. Now, in this interview, I'm talking with Terrell Bilbo. He's a real estate investor out in Texas. He's a crypto trader and an all-around practical economist. I found him over on LinkedIn. That's where I've been spending my time creating content. We made the connection. We put this together. And what I like about Terrell is I was checking out his info, and a lot of people don't know a lot about crypto. They feel like it's a little bit shady, they don't really understand what's going on with it. So I was like, why not have somebody else come in and school me on the game, right? Because finance is not just about traditional stocks, bonds, get a job, save for your IRA, or save for your 401k. There's a lot of different ways you can get to it. And my man is really committed to helping the community find ownership in multiple asset classes. So I hope you enjoy the interview, and I'm going to check you out in the next video. Let's get into it. I appreciate your time, and I want to get right into your background because we just met, and so we're just acting like strangers, and we just talking about the fact that we both into money within the digital assets and making things happen in that direction. So tell me about your background, where you're from, and then we'll get into how you got into this part of the game.
Absolutely, man, and pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me, man. But so for me, I grew up Houston, Texas. My family's from Louisiana, Lake Charles, Louisiana. So we come from a long line of like entrepreneurs and things like that. So started early, man. I've always been hustling, really hustling to get it, making money. My family comes from that. So I went to Prairie View A&M University, engineering degree there, and then I played football for Prairie View as well. And then once I left college, like my senior year in college, that's when I really got into real estate. So
Mm-hmm.
I got into real estate. My cousin was the vice president of Washington Mutual at the time. So
Okay.
basically, everything that didn't land on their desk landed on ours. So that's kind of how we got into real estate. So ran a mortgage company for 5 years. Got into real estate. Anything that you could think of, from buying, selling, wholesaling, fixing, flip, all of that. And then then we moved on to doing development. So I'm a custom builder. We build from the ground up. And for the last 7 years, I've been into cryptocurrency. I got my certification in blockchain technology, digital currency, and smart contracts from the University of Nicosia in Cyprus, Greece.
Mm-hmm.
So it's money has always been around me. I've always been on the financial side of things. And my goal has always been to, I know I've been blessed to be in certain rooms that most people won't get access to. But people like me that come from where I come from, I believe it's my responsibility to go and give some of those gems and some of those tools that they can use to get their financial house in order. So, that's the mission, man. We just looking each one teach one.
I like that. I like that. And so do you think the pivot from, well, I know you still do developments. I saw one of your developments and your build ups in Texas. So I don't see a lot of real estate in Texas, but like I check out a lot of homes and things like that. And it
Mhm.
looks great, man. It was a duplex actually. So that was great. That's affordable for the people, the residents, and make more for yourself. But do you find it like the pivot or to understand crypto, like anything from real estate to help you understand crypto even more, other than it just being business?
Well, mostly I would akin that to my engineering. right?
Okay.
Because
Okay.
crypto, I'm a techie, right? So I've
Mm-hmm.
always been taking computer engineering. So it's techie. So when I look at blockchain technology, that's really what we're looking at. We're looking at
Right.
this new financial technology. The technology has been around, but it's now being integrated into the financial market, and it'll go throughout. So what I look at it as, it spans over everything, right? It's going to be integrated into all that we're doing. So for me, real estate, when I was into real estate, and then when I got into blockchain, and then I did a project that married both of them,
Mm-hmm.
it's like a kid in the candy store. Like I have a in-depth knowledge of both, and I was able to see from that perspective how they both work together. So
Okay.
it wasn't so much of a pivot; it was more of an integration for me.
I got you. I got you. So what drew you to crypto? Did somebody like somebody close, they got into it, or you just saw it coming down, like you saw around the corner a
Uh,
little bit?
My mentor, Michelle Lilly, and actually she's the first African American woman in the world to have a master's degree in blockchain technology. So that's been my mentor. That's been my sister. We started in real estate together. We moved into crypto together, and that's what it was. We got involved through a network marketing company actually, and then we actually saw like, man, this is real. And then
Mm-hmm.
we both decided like we're gonna plant our flag here because so many times, especially in our community, we always catch the back end of everything that's going on,
Mm-hmm.
right? We just decided like, we're gonna be first, we're gonna be front, and we're gonna stay in this market and really figure it out. So that's what we did
Yeah, we do. We be late to the party sometimes, and then by the time
all
the
the
end,
time, right?
we picking up scraps. And the great thing about doing digital business is it's expansive. It's like it's always growing. So like blockchain, there's always way to probably use blockchain. Like it's very valid, right? The
Mm-hmm.
use case for blockchain is solid. You know what I mean? It's just gonna take the rest of the world to catch up. So. Uh,
Right.
but you know what I noticed in business and just in life in general? Sometimes you can be too early and you don't get to reap some of the benefits. And I think that talking to you was one of the reasons I wanted to talk to you is so that we can learn about the benefits, and understand if it's worth us being, this early into the game. Like you might have been doing it for 7 years, but we still got however many more years until everybody starts to adapt it. So what are some of the benefits of blockchain specifically, not just crypto? Yeah, I'm gonna let you break down crypto, but really what people need to understand it is built on top of blockchain technology. So can you tell me about the benefits of blockchain or what it's really about?
Absolutely. And I'll speak to your point, your first point that you raised about being early.
Mm-hmm.
See, this is the thing about being early. Sometimes it hurts, it sucks, you know what I mean? But I always say once the pizza guy is telling you about crypto, you already too late, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, and the thing about it is, it's like the people who were early in crypto or Bitcoin, they're benefiting, right? So some, we especially in our culture, it's a see it to believe it type thing, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it is important for you to just take that step. And I'm not saying go head first, but it's important to be curious first and get educated. I lead with education. I have an education platform, so I lead with education. I tell people all the time, don't believe anything I say. I show people how to basically think for themselves and go find the resources, and then you make an educated decision for yourself after that point. But it's good to be early. I love the fact that I was early. For 7 years, I was telling people, "Hey, man, this thing is coming. I'm telling you, this blockchain," because I understood it from a different standpoint. Like when I went to school and learned like the academia side of this, I was like, "Oh, this is real. Like they're really doing this." You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Once you see that, you say, "Okay, but if they're really doing it, then we should be doing it as well." It's just about following the money.
Mm-hmm.
So you talk about the blockchain technology. So this thing about this, our financial system, right? We went from, back in the day, from food stamps having to tear them off the papers,
Mm-hmm.
then we went to, then we got the DBT card and things like that. Like technology always moves us forward, right? So blockchain technology, is just another iteration of our market or our system. So we're being moved forward. So everything that you know now will be found on the blockchain in the next 5 to 10 years, in my opinion, right? So understanding that we're moving in that direction, how do you position yourself to say, hey, and this is an important time in history, right? Because this is the first time that we've actually had the opportunity to own a piece of the infrastructure of this new financial system. Before, man, we didn't get a chance on the dot-com boom, the oil
Mm-hmm.
boom. We missed all the booms. This is the only time that I've known in my lifetime that we've been aware enough that we can actually own the infrastructure. So blockchain is going to be super important because anything that you can think of is going to be called tokenization, right? So think about stocks, bonds, the forex market. All of that will be found tokenized and found on the blockchain and will run 24 hours a day. So if you understand that, owning a piece of it is very, very important for us right now.
So I understand a bit about tokenization, but to ask if something when an asset is tokenized, that means
Mm-hmm.
it's like stamped forever for wherever it originated, and then it could be built on top of or sold off from that point. Is that basically what tokenization
But
does?
tokenization is basically just the fractional ownership. It's the fractionalization. Like, so let's say it's a building in Miami, right?
Hmm.
And you may not have 50 million to buy this building, but you might have 100,000,
Hmm.
right? So you can have your fractional ownership of that particular building. And with that fractional ownership comes whatever your benefit should be. So if it's rent, the building is appreciating, you get your portion of that appreciation.
Yeah.
If the building
Okay.
is giving revenue, you get your portion of that revenue. So it's just bite-sized pieces of a whole. Basically, that's what it is.
And so that building is basically on the blockchain. Like
Yes,
the ownership of that building is on the
the
blockchain.
ownership, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. And with the blockchain, it can't be changed, it can't be manipulated, and it's an open source. So all blockchain is an open source, an open ledger, so you can see everything that happens in real time.
There it is, an open ledger. See, so with what I do in my email and digital marketing is try to make everything as simple as possible for the
Yes,
people, for the consumer, and then also help the person who's educating, like you're educating us on it, right? And so people understand what a ledger, because we can look back in the day, like you said, when we miss um say banking, for example. A lot of banking originally was done on ledgers, like an old
right.
book with all the lines, right? And people
Absolutely.
can envision that. And I like to try to speak like vividly, like I'm thinking, I don't know how to rap, but the best rappers can tell stories, right? But if you can
Yeah,
help people understand and see the story and see the ledger, like it's just a digital ledger. I think that's a beautiful way to say it. I hope somebody takes that away, that Terrell
absolutely.
put them onto the digital ledger. That's what blockchain technology is for
Absolutely.
assets. I love that. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So all right, so now I'm hyped, right? We got that good connection. I get it now. Digital ledger. So now let's talk about crypto, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of, I mean, it's been popular. People been talking about it a lot. Uh, I understood what it's been. When you first talked, I had some investments in crypto. For the
Mm-hmm.
most part, people kind of say Bitcoin is the leader, right? But Bitcoin has the most validity, maybe say, or use case,
Mm-hmm.
validation. So what about the rest of the crypto world? Like, what's the value in it? How can you tell what makes it go up and down? Like, why is it an investable asset?
So Bitcoin is the grandfather of all. It was the first use case, like is the first use case of peer-to-peer transaction. That was the whole purpose of Bitcoin. Because the whole idea of decentralization, right? Because if you look at the system that we've been running on, you don't know what the bank is doing. Like most people don't understand when they put their money in the bank, that bank is using your money to go make money, and then paying you 0.00 nothing, right?
Mm,
So we've had a lot of existence, a lot of experience with middlemanning the process throughout our whole lives and never been able to really participate in the true game that's going on. So Bitcoin and blockchain technology allows you to participate in that, right? So Bitcoin is like that sovereignty. It's not controlled, it's decentralized, which means there's no one point of failure or no central government that's issuing it out,
right.
right? It's all computer, it's all a program, and it runs without human intervention. So that's the beautiful part of it, right? So it gives you decentralized. So it's like when you say, I want to hold something that can't nobody take from me, that's what Bitcoin is, right?
Okay.
But then when you look at the crypto market as a whole, I always say look at it as the Fortune 500 companies of the future, right? So I always give this example, right? You ever seen The Wolf of Wall Street? You ever seen
Mm-hmm.
him?
Yep.
So remember, he made his most money. Remember when he went to the stock market crash? He went to the little broker shop and he was started selling the penny stocks,
Yeah.
right? He didn't start making money till he started selling the penny stocks to the big guys. That's the overall crypto market. It's the penny stocks now, but now with regulation and everything moving in place, this is the big guys starting to buy it. So when you look at crypto and you look at the ecosystem as a whole, you got to say, what is the utility? I always talk about XRP. If you're
Yeah.
not looking at XRP is going to replace the SWIFT system, right? SWIFT system is how you send money globally across the world. And it's a statistic out right now. It's a status that says the Forex market, $150 billion a day in fees to trade on the Forex market, right?
Mm-hmm.
That market was found or put on the blockchain and put on XRP. 150 billion a day moves down to $1,500 a day, right?
Okay.
So the
And
thing
for
that
those that don't, oh, let me jump in
you,
just for the simplification. So I used to work for a I used to work for a real estate company, like my first professional job out of college. And I worked for the government for 14 years. So I'm familiar with the Swift code. So if people don't know, like if you send in a transaction, they have to, it's either going to be like a direct deposit, which
mm-hmm.
is, dang, I forget, what is it?
ACH,
ACH, right? That's a form of sending the deposit. And
right,
Swift is a different way. And Swift, a lot of times, is for international transactions, I believe. You
right,
can tell
yeah,
me if I'm right. Yeah. So, yes, all right. So I do know what I did do my job right.
yeah, you
So
did your
Swift, so
mark.
Swift wires back then was like a lot for more international. And when you think about blockchain technology and that it's on the uh, internet, that means it's global. Like it's instantly global. Everybody has access to it. And so that's what Swift is. And so what you're schooling us on is that XRP is a version of that to move Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, rather not just Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency around the globe in a more affordable way.
Yeah, it's instant settlement, right? So because
Got
you
it.
think about it, if I send a wire right now, if I send a wire across the world, it might take 3 to 5 days to get there. The reason why
Mhm.
that is because there's so many people in between that has to get paid, right? But if I send it on XRP, it sends in 30 seconds, right? And I
Gotcha.
save myself all of this different money. So all the banks are going to adopt it. So that's just one example that we can look at in the crypto system. But it's basically just looking at the I would say the functionality and the efficiency of our markets. That's what crypto and that's what the blockchain is going to do for everything that we're doing. Everything that we're doing.
Right. All right. So it makes things more efficient. But I want to dig in real quick on XRP because I checked out your YouTube and you
Mm-hmm.
showed some live trading, which I appreciate because, like you said, we are like show me first type of culture. So we
Yeah.
gotta see somebody doing it. Because we're like, man, you telling me I don't. First of all, I don't know what these charts are. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you the one really doing the chart. So we got you, and it's not a voiceover. It's you on the chart live, showing people, what the highs and the lows are. And you
Mm-hmm.
didn't hide what your account, status was, like basically how much money you had in that account for XRP. And you wasn't really trying to flex. It's just that was even the part you never even mentioned that. I didn't
Yeah.
notice it until I got to the very end of the video, and I was like, "Oh, this, the whole screen is available."
Yeah.
Now, what I'm trying to get to is, so you trade in XRP. Are there any other valid cryptocurrencies so you trade it or you just invested in it for one?
Well, I do both. So this is the thing. Learning how to trade is a skill. It's a like they say an Ivy League skill, right?
Yeah,
But I believe everybody can do it, but I don't believe it's for everybody. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Because a lot of us, just let's be real, all of us most people have a bad relationship with money. That's just what it is. And to be in the market, in and out or whatever, because this is what I always tell people, especially my clients, like, think about it. The market goes up and down and
Mhm.
sideways. That's consolidation, but it goes up and down. So that's basically a 50-50 if you really look at it, right? So what makes it so hard? It's the emotions, it's the brain. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
We have a bad relationship with money, so that's what makes it hard because it's really not. So when I look at trading, I think that if you can learn the skill and be disciplined and be robotic, do it. But I say in this particular time, I think it's important for people to, just like that 401k that you have, just like that IRA or whatever you have, build you a portfolio and let the market do what it's going to do. Warren Buffett said it's not about timing the market, it's time in the
I'm in the
market.
market. Yep.
And I
Yep.
think that's what, especially for a lot of us, I would say 90% of us need to build a portfolio, understanding the moment and the opportunity, and put that money there and let it do what it's going to do. I think that, and that's what I encourage most of my clients to do.
So
Let's get,
invest for the long term.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Because think about it, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is in its infancy stages. This is like very, even though we've seen tremendous growth. Like if you look at Bitcoin in 2009, it was 0.003, less than a penny. So in 15 to 16 years, it went from less than a penny to 200 and, I mean 100 and, I would say 100 and the high was like 113, something like that,
Yeah.
right? So that's tremendous growth from less than a penny to that, right? So the numbers are there. you see it, but we still in the beginning stages. So if you feel like you missed it, you haven't. But I'll be honest with you, the time is running out because now you have BlackRock, Fidelity, Franklin
Mm-hmm.
Templeton. All of these guys are in the game now. And once, when Trump got on there and said, hey, we're going to be the crypto capital of the world, they're not joking about it, right? They're not just saying it just to say it, but it's still time because in order to do like institutional money, they have to have regulation in place. It's not
Mm-hmm.
there yet, but they're working on it. So when that's in place, it's gone after that point.
So
So
that's made me to think of two things, three things. One, my homeboy tried to get me to start day trading last year, and I was like, "Fam, just send me the book. Send me the book." So I bought "How to Day Trade for a Living" from Andrew
mhm,
Aziz. That's like the top rated book, one of the top rated books on Amazon.
yeah,
Because he's into a bunch of different like Discord groups, and he had some big wins. And I follow money. Like I just follow money talk. I always thought it was interesting.
yeah,
And they said exactly what you said. They've been saying it before you ever said it to me, and it's going to be forever. One, most people don't have a good relationship with money. Mine is still improving, so I can attest to that.
yeah,
Two, the emotions is why most people fail at day trading
yeah,
because it's very fast, it's intense, and people don't like losing. We rather avoid loss more than we want to, acquire gain, right? So
yeah,
that's a big thing. Third thing, you are so right about the institutional part. I understand. Like now they have a Bitcoin ETF.
hmm
So slowly but surely they got to keep figuring out more ways to incorporate, if not all the cryptocurrency, which eventually it'll get there. So my question for you now then is one. This is the personal question, but it's not too deep. Do
hmm
you invest in the stock market as well, like traditional stocks?
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I'll be honest with you. I don't because so I was doing a show. We do another podcast. Me and my partner Sloan, we do a podcast called Money Talk. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And one show we were reading that it said right now is the highest percentage of black people that are getting into the stock market, right?
Yep.
And on his face, it looks like, man, that's a good thing. I don't look at it that way. Um, I'm a contrarian, right? We're getting into it now because we're exit liquidity, right? Because they're taking their money and going to the blockchain.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like now, it's all we always get it last. Like think about the forex market. Before a couple of years ago, you couldn't even have a forex market if you didn't have $1 million. Now they let everybody get into it. Why? That's dumb money. That's what they call it. That's absolutely what they call it. They call it dumb money because y'all don't know. You feel like you got this opportunity, but you don't have 30 years of training to understand what this market is really doing. Right. So when I look at it is I don't touch the stock market. And plus, think about this. If you're trading stock, a great year for you is 5%, 7 to 10, you're a genius, right? I could I could do that in a day. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? So it's like for me, the biggest bang for our buck right now is understanding this blockchain technology, getting these projects while they're low and before they become mainstream. That's going to give you the most return. I can show you projects right now that, 5, 10, 50x of your money. You're not going to get that in the stock market. No way.
Do you think that
Because if
that
you look at
percentage, you think that percentage is going to come down as cryptocurrency and blockchain becomes more popular,
I
or is it?
mean, it will, it will. But if you do it
Okay.
in comparison, 5 to 7% to 1,000%, even if 1,000% come down to 500%,
Hmm.
you're not getting that in the stock market.
Do
So
so it's not. Well, it won't replace the stock market at some point. Like, well, do you think this might be mad futuristic for us to think about? Will they adopt the stock market to blockchain, or like will they just exist in simultaneously in the world? Just you got stock market and then you got regular whatever the
you
crypto.
will always have the stock market because you always have these companies, right? But what's
Got it.
going to happen is that the stock market is going to move onto the blockchain, and you're going to be able to trade even those stocks 24 hours a day, 7 days
That's
a
what I
week.
was trying to get to. How are they going
Yeah.
to like? That's what I'm. All right. So the tech, not yeah, because the markets have to close at a certain time every day. What is it,
Mm-hmm.
4:30 or something like that?
Yeah. Was it 4 Eastern?
4 Eastern. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the markets close every day, but blockchain is online, so it's 24/7.
Wow. So you're gonna be able
Um,
to do that 24 hours a day.
so that's basically more volatility with people being reckless because this is me. So I used to work in health space, and I'm just thinking, based on your biological clock, everybody don't make sharp decisions. You can't make sharp decisions 24 hours a day.
No.
So if you can trade all day. and it's already risky because people emotions. It's going to be some people making a lot of mistakes if they
Yeah.
get to trade all day long,
And this is
trying
what
to
they
get in
count
and get
on.
some extra money. Yeah.
This is what they count on. But this is the thing. This is why I always stress infrastructure.
Hmm.
Like I'm not like my analogy is do you want to bet on every car that goes through the toll booth, or you want to own the toll booth? I want to own the toll booth,
Hmm.
right? So you know, part of what we're talking about of this conversation is ownership, right?
Yeah,
So
definitely.
own the infrastructure that all this stuff is going to run on. Like, because yeah, they're gonna do it 24 hours a day, and a lot of people are gonna lose a lot of money or whatever. But if I own the baseline technology or the baseline platform that all of this is running on, and I get a little piece of every transaction that comes through, or ownership in everything that comes through, that's a better investment for me than trying to bet on a stock or deal with my emotions or all of those different things. Like, no, just own the infrastructure, and you can sit back and let that run for the next 20, 30 years.
And that would be owning a piece of the blockchain.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Each project, like, so if you talk about XRP, we talked about Swift. If you own XRP, Ripple, then you own the infrastructure, right? You own the infrastructure that everything is going to run on. If you own something like um, either Cardano, or you own something like either one of these, like not XRP, but Ethereum, if you own the baseline technology, anything that's built on top of them, you will benefit for the mainstream adoption. You're going to benefit from it because you own the main line.
Okay. So that gives that leads me to a thought about. So I from the research I've done, XRP, Ethereum, Bitcoin, they have use cases.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of the meme coins, not so much.
Yeah.
So what do you think about those meme coins? I guess it's like a pump and dump kind of thing, or
Yeah.
how does that? I know you're probably too smart to be fooling around with those unless you just
No,
had
I'm not, bro. I'm not. I'll be honest with you. Like when I again coming from academia, once I got my certification, I was just like, I'm not messing with those meme coins or whatever,
okay.
right? And I missed out on a lot of money on the first two bull runs. This will be my third bull run, right? I missed out a bunch of money, and then what I realized is this: because I know it, I'm in it for 7 years, so I can see certain symbols and stuff.
All right,
I
so
know
you
the projects, I know exactly. But guess what? The average person has no idea what it is, nor do they care. But if I give you a picture with a dog, they identify with that. So
hmm
what I had to realize is that the meme coin is just the onboarder of people. That's the bring people in. Now, once I got
that's the
you,
dumb money.
well, I wouldn't say that
Oh, okay.
because they know that everybody's going to have to use this, right? But how do I get you in? If I say, hey, the XRP is the Swift system, it's a global settlement system. It allows you to, instant settlement or whatever. The average person is going to be like, what are you talking about, right?
Hmm.
But if I say this cute little dog just made me $100,000 from $1,000, well, how do I get that, right?
Okay.
So the motivation is money, and they understand that. So you got to understand the meme coins, great opportunity. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like I can
Okay.
show you, I'm gonna send you a video privately, but 200 to almost 20 grand in 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
That's available. I'm
Hmm.
not saying that everybody makes it, and I'll be honest with you, but when I step back from it, I gotta understand that that's how they're gonna get people in the system through the meme coins, things that they understand. And then now that you're here, now let's look at XRP. Now this is what this is gonna do. And the average person, I'm gonna be honest with you, they're gonna have phones, they're gonna have everything running. They're not gonna even know that they're on the blockchain, but they're gonna have a wallet, or they're gonna have some app that automatically gives them a wallet. It's easy use. That's what they're doing, but they got to get you in the system. So I believe that's what meme coins are.
So
So
so those meme coins might be they are part of a larger play possibly, and they
absolutely.
might come from some other powers that be. It's not just the celebrity. The celebrity might be
Oh,
the
man.
inroad. Yeah. Yeah.
Nah,
Okay. That's a
most celebrity coins don't do well.
yeah, I
This is
noticed.
what I would tell you.
Other than Trump, right? Other than the Trump stuff.
But you gotta look at his influence. You know what I'm saying? Like he
Yeah.
can push the needle. You know what I'm saying? But most of these meme coins that you see, what you gotta look for is community, right? Like you gotta get into these like you said, the Discord groups, the Telegram groups, and really look at the community in the basically their engagement with the coin, because that's all it is. That's all you're looking at. You're looking at people deciding, hey, this is worth something. Because if it's not, it's really not. It's just it's a dog with a hat, because it doesn't do anything, but it's people's engagement. It's people feeling like they're a part of something, and then it's also them understanding it. Like again, I can tell you a bunch of like utility coins, and I want you guys to look at it. It's called ISO 222. These are the banking financial coins. Most people don't know nothing about them, right? But this is the infrastructure. But if I tell you ISO 222, you have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about. But if I told you Doge, you would know what I'm talking about. If I said Shiba, you would know what I'm talking about. So that's where it is, bro. It's like people understand what they understand, and it's just that's how we get them into the system.
Yo, I really appreciate you sharing that because that was about to be my next question. So you was ahead of the curve, but most people will want to know, people that are a bit savvy when it comes to money, what actually gives some of the cryptocurrencies and coins uh actual value. And the value, the best value comes down to the community. People overlook that so much with Bitcoin. Bitcoin was Satoshi, when they built it, like it was built on a community of people who understand the value is in, I mean, they put it together was genius. The value was in it being a limited amount, right? And
Exactly.
then the structure of it. And this is me going back to like thinking about like marketing and how you got people down the process to make a purchase. People like structure as much as they want to have all of the freedoms and the rights to do whatever they want to do. If you have too much freedom, you end up doing nothing or nothing in a one productive direction. So like
Right.
Bitcoin was a community for the most, and then the from the history I read about it, people was already following Satoshi and understanding what he did, wherever he was popping up online, and then boom, he just dropped Bitcoin and whoever drops it, dropped Bitcoin and got out of there. But it has a structure. So you were saying like in the Telegram groups and the Discords, a lot of it is like, people get busy on X, that community and stuff
Yep.
like that. Or
Yep.
even the ape whatever those the
The
ape
Bored Ape. Yeah.
the
Yeah.
board ape Netflix NFTs.
Yep.
That was more of a community, like people that was looking for ways to monetize art, kind of, or whatever the case may be. So community is a big thing in giving value to the coins. Now, if
Mhm.
you got a good community, you start a coin. What do they? Does the people leading the community have to put together like actual assets to have, like to money? Like sometimes, like you want to pull some money out somehow.
Mhm.
And if you can't buy a real thing, like some places accept Bitcoin, but if we got our own, say you and I have our own community, it's like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
Do we have to put out a product for people to come spend that coin on? Like how would that work? People don't understand that part.
Well, it goes both ways. Some people, again, that goes back to utility. Some people have a utility, right? It might be like you talking about the Bored Ape. The utility is that if you buy one of these Bored Apes, you get invited to these private yacht parties. That was the
So
utility.
status is the product,
Yeah.
is the end product. Okay, right,
Yeah,
right.
you gotta tap into people want what
Yep.
they want. You know what I'm saying? So, but some of them don't have any utility. It's just like you said with Bitcoin. It's more of a movement, right? It's something that they believe in. Or a meme coin could just be some like popular. Like I tell you, the one that I made when I said the 200 to 20,000, it was called
Mhm.
Big Balls, right? And I literally, because I'm locked in and I understand culture. Now, when you get it, you understand culture. And once I saw that they announced it on the news, because it was one of Elon's guys that's working with him in the whole Doge thing that's helping him audit the system. And
Okay.
his username was like Big Balls or something like that. And they announced that on the news and they reported about it. I was like, oh, this is gone. This is gone.
Hmm.
Put like 200, and I not a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? You don't go crazy and never invest in anything that you can't afford to lose. But I
Hmm.
put like $200 over there. I was like, because I just felt it. Like I was like, yeah, this gonna go crazy because I know how it goes. 24 hours, 20 grand, like that. Now, again, that does not happen to everybody. But
Yeah.
if you start to understand the rhythm of why this system moves or why this market moves, you can catch them. I guarantee you can catch them.
Major. That's major. And I get it. Like you just, you got the cheat code because you understand it a bit, right? You're a bit more knowledgeable. But when you're just paying attention to the news, like you said, and have some understanding, you start to layer things on and then you start to develop a real vision for
Yeah,
how
you
that's
got to
working.
spend time with it, bro.
Gotta
That's
spend
the most
time.
the thing I tell everybody. Like, this is not something that this is not get rich overnight. Quick, like me being able to do that is 7 years of understanding and being in this market, taking losses, taking gains, like all of that. You know what I mean? But if you spend time in this market, I would encourage everybody to say this is the time that I'm really gonna get interested in, really gonna like lock in and learn something new. That's what time it is. I believe for everybody.
Got you. This is a random question because I got a few friends that work in traditional finance.
Hmm.
Um, are there crypto brokers or like financial planners like that specifically focus on cryptocurrency?
Well, I'm one of them. I'm a crypto consultant.
Okay, okay.
And they're getting more into it, right. So it's like before, like again, I've reached out to the IRAs, I reached out to the financial advisors, and I'm surprised, now they're starting to get more up to speed, and some of the bigger guys are doing it. But you have thousands of financial advisors that people help manage money and things like that. And for the longest time, but until the like last 3 or 4 years, bro, they was just like, no, we can't touch it. We're not touching that.
It's not
So for me,
regulated enough. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
for me, it's an advantage because I can work with you privately and
Mhm.
saying, hey, I don't make any guarantees, but once we go through what it is and I show you, then again, make an educated decision at that point. But most financial advisors don't have the knowledge. The learning curve is huge, you know. So they don't really have the knowledge to really point their clients in the right direction. And that's what I was telling them. Let's work together because if you can't help them with this, somebody else will because they're hearing the stories. They're hearing about people making 20,000. They're hearing about people making 100, making a million. There's 12-year-olds right now that are
Yeah,
millionaires
man.
right now.
Yeah, yeah. I heard.
So
And it make you feel so bad when you of a certain age you ain't access that type of money.
yeah,
But the children, younger people have what we don't have as older adults is they got time, so they can
yeah,
use that time to go learn and figure stuff out. And their minds are more impressionable. Their brain is picking up things faster. They
yeah.
swiping left, right. They know what's going on.
And they
Uh,
grew up on this.
they
They
grew
grew
up
up
on
on,
it.
on,
Yep,
on technology. So it's
exactly.
it's 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 innate to them. Like this is everything that they've been doing their whole life. So to them, it's just like, oh, you just push this? Okay, cool, no problem.
That's an advantage of growing up.
Yeah,
Some parents might overlook. This just led me down another. I told you we're gonna go where the vibe go.
yeah.
So I've had a few businesses. I've had five businesses
Mhm.
since I graduated college, and
Okay.
only two of them did really well. Uh,
Hmm.
and so I spend a lot of my time thinking of business ideas. I do some consulting for friends on like either digital, I'm not just digital, but marketing, and then how to build their business or like pivot it so that they can make more money. Like just layering on whatever can help them make more money.
Right.
And I always think about where's the business opportunity. And
Hmm.
that business may not be for me, but if somebody's already doing it, they may do it. A business idea that just came up for me. We know that crypto and blockchain is decentralized.
Hmm.
And the reason that a lot of IRAs and financial planners and stuff like that, they don't touch it because they work under compliance for like SINRA and I'm sorry, SEC and FINRA, right? So
Hmm.
they have regulation. There's no regulation for decentralized currencies and stuff like that. Do you think it's a space to actually come and help cryptocurrencies build some level of compliance? So to add extra validity or an extra layer of security or understanding for people to like, because people want to know like since it's so it's like the wild wild west, but people might trust it more if there was compliance, or is this like something that is kind of against the whole vibe of that industry?
Now, I'll be honest with you. When we first got into crypto, like I said, the whole decentralized was the battle cry, I would say.
Okay,
But bro, real money is not gonna move without regulation. And I'll be telling, and I'll to be honest with you, it's already happening. Like it's already happening. Like again, when you got Franklin Templeton, Fidelity, BlackRock, State Street, all of these guys, it's already happening. You know what I mean? So that those days of saying we want to be unregulated or there's, the wild wild west is pretty much over, right? But I look at it as a good thing though, because some people, if you missed that early stage and you didn't make that money, I say that you just missed it or whatever the case is. But the next wave, see, because this is what I want you guys to understand. Right now, we have an opportunity to front run trillions of dollars, right?
mhm,
Because you're talking about all of these large institutions, you're talking about governments, you're talking about all of these people is less than 5% of the world actually are involved in cryptocurrency, right?
okay,
So imagine if you got in now and then, but not 100% will have to come into the market. right? So you haven't missed anything. So regulation, I think, is going to be a good thing because when a lot of people want to stay off the grid or whatever because they want to think about taxes and things like that. Now, there's some other structures that I consult on how to keep yourself even with that. But
Mm,
I always say, if you're making money, if you're making money, taxes is not an issue, right?
yeah.
Especially if you know what you're doing.
Mm,
So it's like don't let that deter you from getting in and thinking that only way that I can participate is it got to be like this wild west situation. No, it's good that these people are coming in because they're going to pump trillions of dollars into this thing on something that we know about now. They're just learning about it for the
mm,
most part, right? These banks have, these banks, these institutions, they haven't been in the game. I've been in the game for 7 years. Some people have been in the game longer than me,
yeah.
right? And some of these coins that I consult on, they will adopt them. And once they'll adopt them, like ETFs are coming out for Solana, coming out for XRP, coming out for Avalanche. Like all of these will get ETFs. And you know what happens with ETFs? $18 billion, I believe, in the first 2 weeks of when they did the Bitcoin ETF. 18
Mm,
billion in 2 weeks. So
yeah.
imagine being in a coin that you can get for pennies on the dollar right now and to get an influx of $18 billion.
Yeah, yeah, that's major. That's major.
Yeah.
I think the financial planners and wealth management advisors and stuff like that, the financial advisors, the finance professionals as I call them, I think they should find a way to work with more people, like work with you specifically and more people
Yeah.
like you to consult on how they can do that. Because adding that to even, they always advise, say like 5% or less,
Yeah.
nothing too crazy to invest in crypto now as people still learning about it. But they need advisement on that for their clients. Like their clients, some of their clients, like millionaires are getting younger. It seems like it's a lot of them on Instagram, right? But we know that's not the majority of
Yeah,
people.
now everybody not rich. I
Yeah, yeah.
guarantee you.
But there are younger millionaires. We got a lot of, professional athletes still and stuff like that. And people are gonna be a they need people around to help them guide with their money or guide their
Absolutely.
money or, plan their financial futures. But they are young people, so they know what's going on in the world. They're familiar with crypto. And so they sit down with their financial advisor and be like, well, what's up with this Bitcoin? And the financial advisor like, nah, don't mess with that.
Don't
And now
mess with
you're
it.
missing out on the opportunity to secure a bigger bag for your future.
Yep.
The financial plan should be like, I'm not that great at it, but we have this person who can help, or you can
Absolutely.
just write a whole plan. That's a B2B deal. You could put together a plan and sell it to these financial advisors. Be like, yo, here go the whole book on how to make this play,
Yeah.
put it into your portfolio, put it into your the products that you sell to your clients. That's just from me to you. I think
I
that
mean,
could
I,
help.
I I agree with it. Like, and I'll tell anybody who's listening, any financial advisor, any financial planner, like this is an era. I know where we come from, but I believe this is an era of collaboration over competition.
Yep.
I'm not trying to compete with nobody. Like I'm not. I know that, especially in our communities, we need this information.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't want to advise or give your client, that information or access to that information, you're gonna lose that client. I
That's what
guarantee
I'm thinking.
you're gonna lose that client because my numbers speak for itself. But I would rather work with you with the relationship that you already have than try to take your client. I don't need your client, honestly. I would rather just show y'all, hey, this is what y'all should be doing. Of course, time costs money, so that is what it is. But let's figure a way to work together because we need this information, and I can't do it all by myself. I've been saying that forever. I can't do it all. I'm only one person. So I want partnerships. I want collaboration because I have done the work of understanding this market, knowing these projects, and I have no problem with sharing that information. But we got to collaborate and work together, though.
Yeah, yeah. I feel you on that one. Definitely should be collaborating because they'll lose those clients to firms who have a small. They got one person over in the corner. They about 33. He got on a slick ass suit and he on his laptop looking at all the he on the blockchain right now and he just working that firm and they just call him and they be like, yo, my man over here want to invest in some crypto. What we need to do, come into the office, meet us at the big room, right?
Yep,
And that firm is going to keep all of the influx of the newer clients that's looking to make that investment, and people can lose out. And so, you don't have to over index on it, but it should be a part of the game. So, speaking
absolutely.
of education, I want to give you time to share how you educate, other than being on this platform, which I appreciate you for. But you have the digital masterclass.com where you share a lot on advanced tips and some beginner, I guess, on how to get into crypto. So talk a bit about that. When did you start it?
So I've been educating probably about 4 years now.
Okay.
Um, Started with a company called Extreme. It's a forex market network marketing company, and I was the blockchain educator for that course or for
Okay.
that company. Um, so that's where I started, and I taught 2 days a week. Um, so I and every day was something new for me. But what I realized what it did for me is sharpen my skill. It made me consume so much information because you got to predict an hour 2 times a week. You got to do a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where I started, and then I always had my own platform where you can come in and do my masterclass. It's a 4 hour intensive. We do it virtually, or we can do it, if it's a group, we can do it in person. But basically, you leave that class with a base foundation of not just crypto, because I'm more of an economist, I would say.
Okay.
Because I think people need to understand, like, it's just not about crypto. An asset is just an asset,
Mm.
right? But you need to understand why you're investing in that asset. You need to understand the overall market of what's going on. So I'm more of an economist,
I
but
like that.
so I give people more of a basis of not just, hey, we about to get rich real quick, understanding what this is really about. That's how I teach from. And then for those who say, hey, I don't have 7 years to figure this out, my learning curve is short and I want to get involved, then I have my private consults where we meet privately. I help you build your portfolio, set up all your exchanges, and then also give you your plan while we're going through, and then that exit strategy once we've taken profit and we reach the goals that we wanted to reach together. We
I
have
like
that
that.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Do you so I know you're out in Texas and it's
Mhm.
a lot of people in our community, like between Houston, Dallas. I'm online, I'm looking around, like it's jamming out there. It's a lot. Like I live close to DC, so it's a lot of black people with
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
One of the richest counties in America is PG County and Montgomery County. So I'm familiar with it. But same thing jamming in Texas. Plus, y'all state taxes is, a lot lower.
Hey.
So um so I see it. So how's the community out there in Texas as far as adopting cryptocurrency and blockchain? And I know real estate is, kind of it's a lot of space in Texas, so they understand it even better, how
Yeah.
to take advantage of real estate and the traditional finance around that. But what's the community like? Like what's our community like out there for crypto and blockchain?
I mean, I would say it's growing. I'm here in Texas. I think Miami is probably a hub, and it's more
That's one thing I
activity.
know. Yeah.
Um, but we're growing, and I kind of task myself to do a better job of reaching out. But what people understand is, like, if you look at Austin, you look at Houston. We have Apple is coming to Houston. It's a bunch of technology hubs coming to Houston, and a lot of the mining is coming to Texas as well. Like you said, we have tons of land, so they can put up the digital, I mean, not the digital, but the solar energy and things like that to run the miners on efficient energy, right?
Hmm.
So that's why Texas is going to be, I believe, is the Silicon of the South. I truly believe that. Like, it's a lot coming here, and we're building, and we got a lot of money too down here, like a lot of oil money.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So like that's what I meant, like the traditional get into the money the old school
Yeah,
way with oil, real estate, and now like you said, Austin. I follow a lot of different like tech guys and stuff like that, and a lot of them
yeah,
are in Austin, and and then they go back and forth between Austin and San Francisco and stuff like that. But
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense, right? The data mining, the database centers, right? They can just a lot of
yeah,
space in Texas, so you can build them there, and then it's always attractive because of
absolutely.
the taxes and stuff like that too.
Yeah.
So that's great. That's great to hear, man.
Yeah. And then, like, another thing that I will always say too, like,
Mhm.
again, when I say economists, when we talk about things, like, I always encourage everybody to understand that crypto is the fastest horse in the race, right? But let's not diversification is very important. So, the plan is always to get these runs, because this happens every 4 years, and get the bulk of what we can get, but take that money and put it into raw land, put it into income, cash flow,
Mhm.
those type of things. Like that. That's my goal. I always tell people that's my strategy, right? I'm taking the money that I made from crypto and I'm putting it into real estate development and things that's going to be here forever. And I think crypto is going to be here for the foreseeable future, right? But the diversification of everything, because let's just say, God forbid, that everything does go dark, or we do have a glitch in the power system or whatever the case is. Are you still sustainable? Can you still survive? I think that's an important part. I don't want us to get all caught up on, oh, this crypto. It's still digital money at the end of the day. And we gotta remember that. So we're gonna take these profits and do still some of the traditional stuff. Diversification is important.
I like that. Thanks for that gem right there.
Yes, sir.
People need to know that. You need some hard assets out here. So
Absolutely.
we're gonna end on two things. You mentioned the every 4 years, so I want you to talk about the blockchain halving, and then we'll talk about marketing because that's my bag. So I want to see what you think about that. But yeah, so every 4 years we do is Bitcoin halving. So can you break that down and why that's relevant for right now?
Okay, so Bitcoin halving is, again, it's a protocol. It's designed to be this way. So every 4 years, the amount of Bitcoin that is put into circulation is cut in half, right? So that means that every 4 years the supply goes down, but as you see, the demand goes up. It's simple supply and demand economics 101, right? So that's what's happening. But the I'll say the important part about it is what happens after the halving, right? And you wanted me to, can I share my screen right here?
Yeah, sure. Let me set you up. And
All right. So optimize for video. It's not showing me. Let's see. Can you see it?
there you go. It's about to come up. Yep, we in action.
All right. So guys, this is one of the tools that I want you guys to look at. This is called Coin Market Cap. This is your Google for everything cryptocurrency, right? So I won't go through everything, but you can see what's trending. So this is kind of gives you an idea of some of the coins that you can go do some due diligence on, all of these different things. But what I want to show you is this. So right here where it says cryptocurrencies, you can go to historical snapshots. Right? Again, like I tell people all the time, don't believe what I say. Go do your math. Go do your numbers, right? So the last halving, we're going to go to, what is this? May, what is it? 2017. No, 20, what is it? 2020? 2020.
Yeah, it's 2025 now, so 2020 or 2021 would be the last halving, right?
All right. All right. So look at it. So this is May 10th, 2020, right?
Yep.
See the price of Bitcoin, right? So what I want to do, I'm going to advance the time. I want you to see what the price action of Bitcoin does, right? So right here, 2021. Remember, the last high was April 2021, right? So this is May 2020. So let's look at the price action, right? We'll get to May 17th, June, into July, 11,000 in August.
Yep.
September.
Drop down a bit.
That's the retracement right there. October, we're at 13,000, 15,000 in November, 18,000 right there in November. So from May to November, your investment grew $10,000 right there, right? So let's keep going. November, we get into December, 19,000 by the end of so 23,000 by the end of 2020, right?
Okay.
All right, let's move into January, 32,000 by January. So May to January went from $8,000 to $32,000. All right. And then that's by in January, that's $30,000 right there of increase in your investment. January. Now I want you guys to look at what happens when we get into February. All right, February, that's 30,000. Watch this. 48,000. 50, basically 58,000. So every week it jumped $10,000. Right? So this is the movement of it. This is the retracement. This is the pullback. This is what I always call kind of that complacency stage. People, buy the dip. It's gonna go up 52, 59. Then once we get into April, that second week of April, it spiked at 69,000, and then that was the downturn from there, right? Okay. So if you look at it, if you do the numbers, that's about 11 months. 11 months between when the halving happened to the peak of the bull run. And we know what was going on around 2020. So this was COVID. So I believe that it was cut short in this particular time, right? But the halving is important. The last halving just happened in April of last year, right? So we're in that window of 6 to 18 months that we'll get this type of price action, right? So
Okay.
be looking towards the end of the year going into 2026. I think we'll start seeing this, especially when you start to see them. And I'll stop sharing there. Yeah, when you start to see them put the regulation in place, and then also what we call quantitative easing, right? Now, once they start saying, "Hey, we're going to do a budget deal, or we're going to start pumping bailouts or whatever," when you start hearing that talk, that means they're getting ready to pump trillions of dollars into the market, and this market is going to go absolutely bananas. So, but that is the time frame. Like I said, I tell people, don't believe me, do your own research, but numbers don't lie. And that's what typically happens every 4 years. After that halving happens, then you get that acceleration of price action. And we're in the middle of that right now.
Okay, so we not at the beginning. We not at the beginning when it first did the first halving, but where it's still going up from here.
Yeah.
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 Okay,
And,
great.
and like right now, what we're getting right now is probably that pullback that we're getting right now. The S&P, everything has been at all-time highs, right? So
Yeah.
you need a good correction. They've been talking about recession. I think we've kind of already been in one. We may be turning the corner on it, but you'll know when they start to drop rates, and when they come out and say they're about to start easing, quantitative easing, or pumping money, bailout, spending deal, spending bill. When you start to hear all of that, that means they're about to pump money into the market. But you want to already be in position, because if you chase it, you didn't already missed it. So this is the time to be really paying attention and get involved.
Nice. I learned quite a bit on that one. So I took notes on that website so I can check out what's going on. And I was keeping
Yes,
my eye on XRP and the other ones that was on the rank so I can see like what's basically. I only believe in investing in whatever is at the top already. Right, just follow the leader. Put your money there at the right time and just let that just sell that into the sunset.
I just want to show you one more, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure.
Just one more. So this is what I do with clients. Again, knowing the market. But I'll take one. And this is 1 to 100. You can see all of them. But I just want to show you kind of what I look at, right? So this is one that I look at, internet computer, right? So what you want to look at, again, I always go to the chart. We go to all. And I always say, this is a high, this is a low, right? We buy the lows, we sell the high. So whenever you're looking at a chart, you always want to see what a high is. This is where you should be selling. The low is where you should be buying. Real simple. None of us go into the store and say, hey, give me the most expensive thing you got in here, right? We're looking for the sale. We're looking for value, right?
Yeah.
And they show you the market cap. So this one right here, $2.6 billion market cap, 24-hour volume, $62 million in the last 24 hours came in and out of this project, right?
Yeah.
But what I won't go over everything. Do your research. This is one to do your due diligence on, right? This shows you all the exchanges that you can buy it on. But this is what I look at, right? I take it to a real estate concept. If I'm in a neighborhood that the houses are selling for 300,000 and I can get it for 100,000, that means I got 200,000 of equity in my property, right?
Right.
Same thing here, right? Look at the all-time high. What is all-time high?
750. Okay.
We can get it right now for $5.
Yeah.
All right. So let me get my calculator real quick. So let's say, move this over a little bit. So let's say I got $1,000. So you do $1,000. That's my initial investment divided by what is currently trading for right now, which is $5. Right. That gives me 200 tokens, coins, shares, however you want to look at it. Right. And you times that times the all-time high, $750. Right. That's 150x of your money. Now, it's not guaranteed to go back up to the all-time high, but typically during bull runs, they retest the high and then they go into price discovery, right? So again, this is what the market has already agreed to pay for this particular asset, right? So that's what I go. That's my conservative metric. What I can get it for now and what the market has already agreed to pay for this particular asset, right? And let's say getting back up to the all-time high is 150x of your money. Let's say we're half right. If you took $1,000 and turned it into 75,000, is that a good investment for you? Right? That's what you have to ask yourself. And that's my style of training, consulting. I'm going to show you the numbers, and then we're going to make an educated decision if this is something that you should add to your portfolio.
I hope they appreciate that quick lesson. So that was real. That was real. And so price discovery means getting to a new high.
Yeah, well, we haven't seen before. I don't know what it's going to do, but I don't like to project.
Yeah,
Let's go over
that's a
what the
new
we have
term.
already seen.
That's a
Right.
new term I can add to my belt there. So, wrapping up before I get too long, I won't hold you too long. Marketing, right? I'm always thinking about like marketing online, whether
Hmm.
it be email marketing, social media, pay ads, and things like that. What's your take on how to market crypto? How you how you market to actually get clients, how you
Hmm.
market to educate, and how you market so that you don't look like what some people interpret as like, I don't know, it's just iffy, right? Because
Right.
you're super official, but we know that there are a lot of people because it's so new. The customer base is like the public is uncertain, but then there's some people who just like doing whatever they can, pulling tricks and stuff like that. So,
Right.
how do you go about marketing yourself, marketing your education, and just overall the industry of crypto?
I mean, I try to add value to the marketplace. Like that's why you'll see those videos where I'll do an analysis of the chart. I'll show you this is what I'm looking at, how to look for it, because I think that's more important than anything. I'm not on here trying to say, hey man, I can make you a millionaire tomorrow. And I
Hmm.
think that's what a lot of people lead with. I lead with education. If I can show you, you can need me or don't need me, right? My job is to make you curious about this space, right? So that's what I do. I lead with education, and then I do collaborations. Like if we can cross pollinate our networks, our resources, and things like that, that's how I market. And
Hmm.
then I have I run like the ads and things like that, and I'm gonna
Okay.
do more of that. I need to do more of that, but I would say I'm a private person, man. I don't, like some people want to stand in front of the Bentley and do all that. I think that's corny to me, but I do understand that our culture is you gotta look like you winning, or
Hmm.
I want to see the big cars and the diamonds and things like that. But what I would say the most is, man, most people that's doing that money, wealth is quiet. Wealth
Hmm.
is real quiet. You know what I mean? So you got to be careful when you see a lot of that up front and people trying to show what they got. It might not be what it's all cracked up to be. So I would say look for people who's trying to educate and empower you first
Yeah, yeah.
before you go with the flash and the big cars and the diamonds.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's real. We see a lot of lifestyle marketing and it's effective to some degree.
Yeah.
But this is the thing, when people complain about getting, done wrong with lifestyle marketing,
You
what did you
deserve
expect?
it. You
You know what I
deserve it,
mean?
guy. You went for the pretty girl, and
Yeah, like
you know what
what
I'm
did you expect, man? Because it doesn't mean that person did that. It's not that all lifestyle marketing is bad. It is just appealing to the least common denominator. So you would rather talk to somebody that's a bit educated. Like you do gotta hop in front of a camera or at least like write a blog post. You want to be able to share some
saying?
information. People like people, so that's where personal brand comes in. So yeah, you do want to show up. Like you showing up on camera now.
Yeah.
That's enough personal brand. You don't have to be in whatever fancy car. But I want people to understand that if that's all you see is a lot of lifestyle marketing, they are trying to appeal to the least amount of education. I'm not saying
Absolutely.
they're trying to trick you, but the assumption is that you don't know a lot
Yep.
because you're willing to fall for the leather interiors and whatever the case may be. So that
Absolutely.
is the marketing. That's marketing psychology. Like you assuming this person don't know a lot because I can get over them with something that's superficial and shallow. So
Yeah.
that's
And
my
one
bit
other
of
thing I
education.
will give you on the marketing piece, just a
Hmm.
historical fact, a historical snapshot that you should probably take. You can go on YouTube right now and look at how to sell to the Negro.
I heard about that before. Yeah, yeah.
That and it reigns true. It reigns
Hmm.
true. Like we want to wear our wealth. We want to wear what we have to make us validate us. But I'm telling you guys, that what validates me is what I got in my head. Like
Hmm.
and I'm telling you, I've been in these rooms. I've been around these people. Like some of them, you would have no idea that they're worth billions of dollars because they don't look like it, but
Hmm.
they got it. You know what I mean? So I think we got to change our thought process of what money really is, because the phone money and doing all this online, that's not real money. Like that's not real money. And I'm not hating on nobody. Like get it how you live. I come from that, but I understand that ain't real money. You know what I mean? It's another game that's being played, and I want to help as many people get to that other side of the real game that's being played, so we can take care of our families for generations to come, not just right now.
Not just right now. Well, yeah, man. Look, I appreciate that. Is there anything you want to share before we roll out? How they can get in contact with you? How they can get into your classes or your consultations around your services?
Absolutely, man. So you guys can go to mydigitalmasterclass.com. You can find me on LinkedIn on Terrell Bilbo, Terrell Bilbo. And I'm on Instagram on Crypto Bilbo 1, and you can just follow me there and just shoot me a DM. Let's have a conversation. And I'll try to help any way that I can. But follow my page, follow my YouTube. I'm always putting things up there. And if you have more questions about it, just reach out, send me a message, and we'll get you taken care of.
My man, I appreciate that. I'll add everything to our description, and I want you to continue to go, keep educating. Thank you for educating me so much, and thanks a lot for your time, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. I appreciate the platform. Appreciate you.